Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. I'm right here in Augusta, Georgia today with my favorite butcher, Jack Deese, at the New York Butcher Shoppe. And Jack, you know, I just love to pop in here. You're always so friendly and it just smells good in here. And you know, you've just got so many things to offer in terms of fresh meats and things. Tell us a little bit about the New York Butcher Shoppe.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Vera. This is a wonderful opportunity, and just share a little bit about what we do here at the New York Butcher Shoppe. We're a full butcher shop, offer hand-cut premium meats, everything from prime tenderloin to tri-tip, T-bones, porterhouses. We also have a full section of prepared meals you can just come right in and purchase, take home and pop them in your oven for about 20 minutes. They're ready to go, as well as a whole frozen section of large casseroles. We also offer catering. We have everything from pasta to raviolis to beef stroganoff and meatloafs. We also have a selection of wines and artisan desserts. So we're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7.
You know, and it sounds like a one-stop shop, and
exactly right.
Everything you need is right here. Well, you know, when I come in and when I go anywhere, it seems like people think, well, have you got a cake in your trunk? You know, I'm still known as the cake lady, and certainly I'm sure they feel that way about you with you've just got cuts of meat in the back of your car. But you know, you and I have been talking about that I know so much about the baking side of things and cooking, and know really nothing that much about cooking on the grill. And I say, Jack, you just got to come to my house and show me how to cook on the grill. So I'm gonna, you know, hold you to that today. So, you know, what in the world can we do? You said you'd come to my house and show me how to do it. So what have you put together for me to look at today?
Well, thank you for the invite finally. And to your point about meats, what I've done is pull a couple different meats to go over some ways that we can prepare meats. On an individual side for outdoor grilling, we have things like our filet, which comes from the tenderloin. This is a certified Angus beef New York strip, and this is a prime ribeye. All of these are great for personal grilling. 1 or 2 people per steak. Some people eat one, four people can split one. But more for the backyard group entertainment, I have pulled a couple of roasts, as they call it. The first one is a prime culotte, which is a cut of meat that comes off the top of the sirloin butt. But what we're going to do today, which I think is great for this environment and something that you have spoken of previously, is a tri-tip. Tri-tip is an awesome cut of meat, traditionally cooked on the West Coast, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how we're going to prepare that later.
Well, you know, this time of year, everybody's, you know, it's beautiful in the South this time of year. Everybody's yard looks great, family entertaining, just getting ready. So, you know, I really felt like the audience would love to know more about what's something different and new instead of the same old thing on the grill. So tell us a little bit about how you want to prepare that.
Well, the tri-tip I'm going to do today is going to be the Santa Maria style, and we're going to smoke it. A little bit about the tri-tip. It comes from the bottom of the sirloin, traditionally is cut off and thrown in the grind. In California, Arizona, West Coast, they've been cutting this off and smoking it for about the past 50 years. Today, we're going to do the traditional Santa Maria style, which is the region where it originated. Comes with lots of fresh herbs and spices that we're going to rub on it, and then we're going to smoke it with a traditional hickory smoke.
Oh, yum.
Yes.
And I've got a pellet grill at my house.
Oh, yes.
So do you recommend that?
Highly recommend. I personally use a Rectech often. That's what I do almost all of my smoking on. Pellet grills are a great tool. They take all the variables of the heat and smoke out of it and allow you to focus specifically on the meat, which is what everybody wants to do.
Well, and on something like this, do you cook that to like a medium rare? What is your temperature on something like
with
that?
the roasts particularly, medium rare is what you want to go for in the core of it. The roasts offer a different temperature of meat for everybody because of the way they're tapered. 135 degrees is what I like to pull this. And let it rest for about 10 minutes. Once you're done, it should take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on your smoker.
Well, I'm ready to go, so let's pack it all up and we'll head to my house.
Perfect. See you there.
See you there. Hey, welcome back everybody, and if you're just joining us, I'm with my good friend Jack Deese from the New York Butcher Shoppe, and I have enticed him to come over to my outside space, and we're going to put some delicious food on the grill.
Absolutely.
How does that sound? And what did we decide on over there? You had so many different cuts to choose from, We went with the tri-tip.
We went with the tri-tip because it's a unique cut of meat. It's a new style of meat in this region, and it's got a little something for everything when you cook it. It's fantastic.
Well, this is brand new for me, so I've really got to pay attention. You're going to teach me something today, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so look at all of these fabulous ingredients for your rub. So we're going to put that together.
Yes, so the reason I chose these ingredients in this rub is based on the selection of the meat. Originated, as I said earlier, on the West Coast. Comes from the Santa Maria area, Santa Maria, California, and they've got a lot of regional spices that that are just naturally existing there that go great with this cut of meat.
Okay.
To go through them, I've got oregano, we've got salt, fresh rosemary, fresh sage, black pepper, cayenne, garlic powder, and onion powder.
Wow.
And it's all equal parts of each of these.
Well, and I love to throw out, you know, at the end of the aisle at the fresh market, they've got the little individual plastic bags with all of these spices. And you know, if you don't grow your own, that's always a great place to pick up some spices. Now, certainly you could make this in bulk and keep it in a jar, right?
Absolutely. Pick all of your fresh ingredients. If you have all of these at home, most people's garden has some of these. Dry them, store them aside. But just equal parts of most of that with the exception of the cayenne.
Oh God, look at that.
It's gorgeous. The reason they call it a tri-tip is because, as you see, it's triangular in shape.
Yep.
It's got 3 tips, and what happens is it comes from the bottom, the short end of the sirloin, and it hangs from the bottom of it. And when they trim it off right here, that's what you get is a cut of meat that's always shaped like a tri-tip or a triangle. Then you just take it and rub it on the. I like to start with the meat side just to make sure we got enough on the meat because that's where the flavor is going to be. And then make sure you get it on the fat side. You are going to cook this with the fat cap up.
Oh, okay. That's
the reason you do that is all the juices and flavors that come from the fat are going to render down into the meat. Whereas if you had the fat cap down, they would render down into the fire, and you would lose the benefit of all that flavor and moisture.
Okay, so now you said this is the sirloin.
It comes from the larger cut, one of the primal cuts of the meat. There's 8 different primals in a cow. And the sirloin comes from the middle part of the section of the cow, and the tri-tip actually comes from right in the belly. And they normally just square off the sirloin, cutting this off, but now they've started to save it. So.
All right, well, you've got the grill going.
Yes, ma'am.
And
now we've got that good and rubbed. Make sure it gets all in there. Okay.
It just looks amazing.
Yeah, nice even
Well,
layers.
Jack, I have to say too, I'm so proud of my outdoor area. A couple of years ago, when we had the big ice storm, a lot of people in this area lost gigantic trees, and we lost some trees that were on this patio. And it actually was really hot out here. You know, in the summertime when the leaves were off the trees, the brick was really hot, and we really didn't enjoy it. So Cold Creek Nursery in Aiken came over and did a whole landscape idea for me, and came up with the idea of the structure behind us, and just did grass, and I mean, we are loving it. So we spend a lot of time out here putting stuff on the grill and letting it sit. It's just going to be fantastic.
It's a beautiful setting.
Oh, I love it. So this is great. Okay, so what temperature are we cooking this on?
So I like to keep my grill or pellet smoker around 225 to 235.
Okay.
Anywhere in there. That takes right around about an hour and a half for a 3-pound average tri-tip. And again, you want your internal temperature to come to 135 degrees.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little thirsty. So when we come back from the break, I'm going to give you another great recipe that'll speak to those taste buds as well. So come back with us in just a few minutes.
Vera's Corner is brought to you by Jeff's Sewing and Vacuum.
One of my favorite things is to bring young people in the kitchen and help them learn some amazing cooking skills. This year we're offering summer camps in Augusta, Aiken, and Columbus. Starting this summer, a VeryVera summer camp will be held at River Mill Center in Columbus, Georgia. This camp will be hosted by my good friend and amazing chef, Jamie Keating, and his wife, Melissa. There will be 3 different weeks of camp offered. Pre-beginner for 6 to 7-year-olds will be held from June the 5th through the 9th. Beginner for 8 to 10-year-olds will be held from June 12th through the 16th. And then finally, advanced beginner for 11 to 14-year-olds will be held from June the 19th through the 23rd. Each week of camp is open to 30 students, so be sure to register today. You won't want to miss out on this amazing opportunity to meet new friends and learn how to cook new recipes. Be sure to like the VeryVera Camp Facebook page to keep up with all of the latest updates and see the themes for this year's camp. For more information and to register your child for VeryVera Cooking Camp, go to veryveracamp.com. Welcome back, everybody. Jack, I tell you, I should have had you back over here a long time ago. I mean, we've been saying this forever, and I'm so glad you're here, and I'm learning so much. This tri-tip is going to be great. So I had you working during the break. Tell us what you did when you put the meat on the grill.
Well, I put the meat on the grill. First, I prepped the smoker to 250 degrees, the pellet smoker. I prefer to use hickory chips. The tri-tip is traditionally cooked using oak.
Oh, okay.
For those who want to go traditionally. Put it on the grill that was prepped to 250 degrees. I did the fat cap down for a few minutes, and then I will continue to let it cook with the fat cap up for the remainder of the time.
Okay, for those that don't know about the pellet operation of this grill, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the pellet smokers are great, pellet grills are great because they have a very controlled environment. You can set the smoker to your desired temperature and then leave it alone. Don't ever have to worry about it again. As long as it's got chips to feed into it, you've got the right temperature and right smoke level. The beauty of that is you get to focus on what happens with the meat so that you can prepare the meat in the precise way that you want it and you're not messing with a fire. And everybody's focused on the meat anyway, so that's why one of these things
well,
is great.
and you know, that's why we like it so much, because you can put it on Saturday morning and just go about your day, and it doesn't have a lot of smoky flavor to it.
That's
so
right.
I
Got a
just
very even
love
smoke
that.
flavor.
Well, you know, as I teased earlier, I was getting a little bit thirsty, so I thought I would introduce you to something that we have had a lot of fun with at VeryVera, and that's creating different ice cubes for, you know, non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages. So I'm going to ask you to start pureeing some of these fresh raspberries. Because one of the ice cubes is we're going to use raspberry and mint, and then the other one we're going to do cucumber and thyme.
Okay.
So we've rinsed those off. We're just going to get those nice and pureed, and as he's doing that, he's going to add just a little bit of water to it. You want them not to be too thick, but nice enough that it's going to, you know, create just kind of a nice little liquid to that. And with raspberries, of course, you're going to end up with some seeds after you do all that, Jack. So, you know, just having a sieve available so that you can just take a spoon and just, you know, strain it through there after you're finished is going to keep the ice cube from having a lot of seeds in it.
Okay.
So while you're working on that, I'm going to get started on the cucumber. And what we did here was, you know, just peeled the cucumber and put it in the food processor. And here again, you've got a really pretty liquid. And this is where those old school ice trays that, you know, Granny used to have. You were thinking, Grandma, get an ice machine. I'm so glad she didn't. And you can actually pick these up at the dollar store. But you're just gonna, you know, fill each one of your little trays with this. Yeah, go ahead and be pulsing that. And you know, this is just kind of fun when you're, you know, when you're doing, it can be done ahead. And you know, Jack, I know you said your little 3.5-year-old son is going on 23 and a half. He kind of rules the roost.
Yes.
But you know, these are activities that we love to mention to our viewers that they can do with their young person. You know, doing these little ice cubes would be so much fun for a birthday party with things that children would love, you know, to have in the ice cubes. I used to love to do Kool-Aid ice cubes when I was little. So once you've done that, then in mine, I'm gonna put some fresh thyme, and then that's what you're gonna be able to see through, you know, with the ice cube. So here again, fresh is always best, and Cold Creek also has just a wide variety of all the fresh herbs, and they put together these pots for me that I love with the markers that tell you what's what. Oh, wow. And I have these right out here, and I could come out when I'm cooking and just grab whatever spice I need. But these little ice cubes are gonna go in the freezer and gonna set up just great. But you know, if you gotta have something quick and either your time has died or your mint, the rabbit's eaten all your mint, Fresh Market always has this, you know, in their produce section. And actually, Jack, that was my first introduction to the Fresh Market grocery store. I heard they sold fresh herbs back in the day. I don't want to tell you how many years ago that was. It was probably like 30 years ago. But so that's looking good. So when we come back from the break, not only are we going to get to see this meat and how delicious it looks and tastes, because you did one ahead for us, but we're going to put some good beverage in these glasses. So come back with us and we're going to have a wonderful presentation. Welcome back, everybody. Jack, I think we deserve to relax. Oh my gosh. Isn't this a great area?
It's fantastic.
I mean, I could just come out here and just sit all day. But
we
got to get to work. You know, we've been busy today and everything just looks fantastic. So let's just walk everybody back through what we've done today. Or I should say you've done today.
Sure. So we started off with the Santa Maria style smoked tri-tip. Smoked that for about an hour and a half, and we also took the liberty of grilling some vegetables. We did some bell peppers, some zucchini, some squash, some Brussels sprouts, some roasted red peppers, and then as a good side with the smoked tri-tip and the grilled vegetables is our horseradish sauce. Oh yeah. And then we call it a Mexican corn dip, but it's also considered a Mexican corn relish, served great hot or cold. Goes great as a side with the tri-tip and the rest of the sides that we have here, as well as these wonderful, which I can't wait to taste, these wonderful flavored ice cube beverages. And
you know, that's the thing. I think, you know, a lot of times, I know you've said before that, you know, people will, you know, see the commercial on the show for the butcher shop, and they'll say, well, I didn't realize it was there. And, you know, just things like, I don't know how many times I've been in the shop and I had no idea that you had. There's so much to see that you had something that if I'd seen it, I would think it was a casserole. And now I know that I can serve it cold and it's perfect with this kind of dish. So, you know, cutting up the vegetables, you know, ahead of grilling is problematic because they're going to fall through the grate. You know, I said earlier that grilling is not my specialty, but I think I could probably put a few vegetables on the grill with a little Italian dressing.
Absolutely.
And do that with no problem. Okay, so I'm gonna let you said you wanted tea. So this is the raspberry and mint, and you did such a great job with those raspberry ice cubes. Just love those. Isn't that awesome?
I have a great teacher.
Okay, now we got a toast. So let me get the lemonade, and I've got the cucumber juice and the fresh thyme on that. Cheers! Isn't that awesome? Yeah. Now, you know, of course, on the VeryVera show, we're having non-alcoholic beverage. Can you imagine these ice cubes like in a mimosa or a Bloody Mary? And then that could be tomato juice with cucumbers, or even something with a kick in it, you know, would be fantastic. So, you know, keep that in mind. Not only do you want the beverage to be cool, but taking a few minutes to do an ice cube and, you know, do something really fun with the children with this for birthday parties, you know, strawberry, a whole strawberry in there, and then when it melts, they get to eat the strawberry. You know, that's always fun. But, you know, I just want to encourage everybody this time of year. You know, a lot of times in the South, you go from spring directly into summer, and it gets so hot. But you know, having something that's cooked on the grill that can be served at room temperature, like this cut of meat, you know, when it's a steak, it's almost like it has to go directly from the grill straight to the table.
That's right.
So on something like this where you can put it out and let people go through a buffet line, don't think that you've got to put your vegetable in a casserole situation. Certainly that is awesome if you want to serve that warm, but just having just the fresh vegetables grilled and use it as a display. You even put bread on the grill, for heaven's sakes.
Right.
So you don't even have to use the oven at all. You know, keep the heat out of the kitchen, get outdoors, but you know, think in terms of making it easy, use paper plates, you know, have a place for children to sit. So Jack, I want to thank you so much. I've learned quite a bit today. I can't wait to try that myself. I know all of you have probably learned a little bit about a cut of meat that you might not have known before. I want to invite you to come back and join me again, but I want all of you to come back and join us next week for another episode of the VeryVera Show. And as I always say, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. And I hope you'll come back and join us again next week.
Cheers. Thank you.
To see what's cooking with the VeryVera Show, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.